What made me get where I am today professionally? Well, I went to college for journalism. I thought I wanted to be a writer, a newspaper writer. I actually worked in newspapers throughout high school. I always wanted to be in sports, so I knew that going in. I started in newspapers, did that in high school, did that in college. I got involved. I was the sports editor at the paper in college, but then I also got involved just for fun in the radio station at college, and I loved it. I loved the broadcasting much more even than the writing, so I decided to focus on that route, and then just have been in broadcasting ever since. I did a little news, did a little traffic, but then ultimately got back to where I wanted to be, which was in sports broadcasting. And an internship was huge along the way. When I was in college, like I said, the extracurricular activity for the radio station was really all the training I had. I took a class here and a class there, but the radio station was good training, but the internship was probably the best because I got involved at the station I currently work with. I got an internship in the sports department at Channel 69, and it was very hands-on, in large part because it was in a kind of a medium market. A lot of people intern in like Philly and New York and stuff, and they don't get much hands-on experience. They go fetch people coffee. But I was able to get some real good hands-on experience, and it really cemented for me the fact that I wanted to be in sports broadcasting, and here I am today. So that's kind of the background. Okay, some characteristics that are very helpful that I've found in broadcasting, sports broadcasting. One, a team player. You're always going to be working with the team, and you have to set your ego aside, be other-centered, be team-centered in your approach. More practical and more specific to the field, writing is a must. A lot of people, maybe the number one thing that I've found when people come in, be it an intern or new people, looking to get into broadcasting, is that it's all about they want to be on air, they want to be on TV or on the radio, but writing is what sets you apart, and it's really foundational. You really have to be able to write to be able to do this job, because this is an age where the internet is more and more prevalent, so then a lot of times you have to write things not only for yourself on TV or the radio, but write things that would ultimately go on the internet. So that's also a big time trait that you want to have. Being assertive is good. You don't want to be aggressive or you let an ego get in the way or anything, but you also don't want to get trampled upon. So having ideas, taking initiative is another good thing, and ultimately, again, writing is a must, and just being a team player also would really help you in this field. Well, I'm not sure I have a typical work day. My days are all different. I do things like I go out with a camera and shoot highlights of games. I go back and edit the games. Then I write reports on the games. Sometimes I anchor the sportscasts. Sometimes I report from sporting events. I do a lot of writing for both the TV and the website. I do some radio work. But one day, I'll take you through my busiest day, which is Saturdays. I get up on Saturdays and I go in and I host a 2-hour sports talk radio show from 10 to 12. And then usually I'll go to a game. A lot of times there are 1 o'clock games in the afternoon. We do a lot of high school, college sports, so there are a lot of times 1 o'clock games on Saturdays, so I'll do that. And then I'll go back to the station and start to put together a 6 o'clock show, which will involve writing a lot of stories, editing video for the stories. And then come 6 o'clock, I go on the air and I anchor the sports for that 6 o'clock news. Then in between the 6 o'clock and 10 o'clock news, I've got about 3 or 4 hours, and I usually will go to another game. So I'll shoot the game, I'll come back, edit the game, write more stories for the 10 o'clock news, and then I'll anchor the 10 o'clock news. And then a lot of times after that, I stay and write and post stories to our website. So that's a very long day. I wouldn't say it's a typical day. I don't want to scare anybody off in thinking that all 14-hour days are a must in sports broadcasting, but that just gives you a glimpse of the variety that we get, and frankly, all the skills that you want to be working on, and ultimately you'll acquire on the job. So that's one day. Wouldn't say it's typical, but it does give you a glimpse of the variety that we get in this job.